What's up, YouTube? Capital G here. So there have been some Breaker of Shadows leaks. If you look at these pictures, these are definitely not things that were meant to come out. It even looks like the cards weren't like, maybe they weren't full prints. Maybe they were taken from like a print sheet or something like that. So I got on YG Organization right before I headed to bed just to see, maybe there's some new information. Or actually I was going to look at the Japanese deck list to see if anything of note pretty much topped, and I was like, whoa, so there's some new Breaker of Shadows cards. Like, okay, and you guys have probably seen the other YouTubers talk about this already, but it looks like we now know at least some of the new Kozmo cards that are going to be released in Breaker of Shadows. And then on top of that, looks like the new Pendulum Magician Wizard is going to be released in this set. Oh my goodness, it seems like I wasn't sure if Konami could up the scale at all, but Breaker of Shadows is already looking like, I remember I did the top 10 booster sets of all time. Breaker of Shadows is looking like a shoe-in to be a top 10, and it's looking like it's going to be maybe not as good as Duelist Alliance. I don't see any set topping that, but as impactful as Duelist Alliance, definitely. Like, it's gonna be on the level potentially of Lord of the Tachyon Galaxy or what's it called, Phantom Darkness. Like, things were never the same when this set came out. So first off, this is going to do a ton for Performages and Pals. It's gonna push them closer to where we can play the exact OCG build, and we'll actually have Telemaios and Cyber Dragon Infinity. Telemaios is banned in the OCG, and it's still pretty much tier 0. So we're gonna have the deck at like 100% full strength. It's gonna be interesting to see if anything can beat it consistently, especially when Performages and Pals was at full strength in the OCG. They didn't have things like Solemn Notice, or they didn't have the new Counter Fairy Aradne. They didn't have that stuff. That makes the deck even better because you just stack those Solemns turn 1, and it's gonna be crazy in the TCG. Hopefully they do something to try and counteract this. Next up, we have some new Kozmo cards. Now, honestly, I think that Patrick Obin said that he thought Kozmos were the Fire Fist of this era, basically. And to be honest, it kind of does seem like that. The deck does have some limitations. I think that if you let your opponent Pendulum summon, you're going to lose. Outside, if you can handle the Pendulums and Performages and Powers, you're probably going to beat them because Dark Destroyer and like Forerunner just get the job done. Every deck seems to have one or two, maybe just like one or two outs to Forerunner, but it's not like a lot, and the card can still definitely wreck. But I was hoping that, like, to compete with the Pendulum summoning, I was thinking that Kozmos were going to have to get some really, really good cards, like some absurd Fire Lake type shit. And we're going to be looking at the new Kozmo cards. So first off, this is Kozmo Tin Can, R2D2. And you see it's actually, it looks like it's communicating or talking to Strawman. I think that's Strawman in the picture. This dude is a level 1, and emergency teleport just keeps getting better and better. I was crossing my fingers and hoping that it would be a tuner of some sort, but it is not. It is 0 attack, 0 defense, so it's not exactly a world beater. It says during either player's turn, you can banish this card, special summon a level 2 or higher Kozmo monster from your hand. I mean, that's really built into like all the Kozmo guys. You can only use the effect of Tin Can once per turn. Again, that's just the effect to summon like the spaceships and whatnot. It's nothing too different there. Here's the real effect. Once per turn, during the end phase, you can pay 500 life points, reveal 3 Kozmo cards with different names from your deck. Your opponent randomly picks 1 card and adds it to your hand, and then you send the rest to the graveyard. At first, I was like, I don't know about this because I mean, it seems okay. It can potentially add like Kozmo Town because it just says Kozmo cards, and it can, get some of the big monsters to the graveyard. But Kozmo isn't really a deck that uses the graveyard as like a tangible resource. Usually Kozmo use the banish zone because they like to send things back to their hand with Kozmo Town. So the card it's okay, but it does have some synergy with some other cards that are going to be released in this set. Honestly, I don't think that you necessarily need to run this card. I think Strawman is pretty much the lowest form of like Kozmo that you need, just because, you know, trying to turn Kozmo into a deck that has to use the graveyard as well, it's like you're going into a different direction. So in my opinion, the card's okay, but I just don't think it's really necessary. It's an ultra rare too. That's another thing. All of these rarities, or all these cards, we know rarities too. So this is a secret rare by my eyes, and that probably means that this is like a $70 card on release. It's going to be, in my opinion, very similar to like Archfiend Eccentric, probably. Next up, we've got Kozmo Stormtroopers. Oh, excuse me, Sword Troopers. Those are totally not the Sith, and those are totally not Stormtroopers. They are level 3 dark psychic types. Again, you can emergency teleport them. 1000 attack, 1000 defense. Got them exile force stats. The first effect is you can just banish it to summon a Kozmo that's 4 or higher, and you can only use that effect once per turn. The second effect is once per turn, you can pay 1000 life points, target one psychic type Kozmo in your graveyard, special summon it. All right, so obviously these two cards work in unison, and maybe there'll be a different build of Kozmos that might end up being more successful, a build that uses the graveyard much more like frequently, because, you know, you could obviously set up with Tin Can. You could get Forerunner, Dart Destroyer, and the new card that is in this set, like all the big spaceships, and your opponent's going to dump 2 of them to the graveyard. Maybe you summon the one that you add, the one that gets added to your hand, you summon that, and then your next turn, you know, or you could teleport out this and then use this guy, pay that 1000 life points, and then get like a Dart Destroyer from your graveyard. So I mean, that's legitimate, but to me it takes Kozmo into a different direction, and again, that might be the better direction, but this is like only run this if you're running this. So right now I don't really see I don't see it necessary to run either one. We've got another level 5 Kozmo. This is Kozmo Delta Shuttle. It's dark. I'm guessing that this is essentially like this is like the dark version of Slip Rider, which to me Slip Rider is like really good. So, you know, this card's gonna be hard pressed to try and replace it. All right, 2000 attack, 2000 defense. A lot of monsters with the same attack and defense in this set. Once per turn, you can send one Kozmo monster from your deck to your graveyard, then target one monster on the field. It loses attack and defense equal to the sent monster's level times 100. So you can send like a Forerunner and make your opponent's monster lose like 700 attack. It's not bad. Send a Dart Destroyer, make them take 800 attack. If this card is destroyed by battle or card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from the graveyard, special summon a level 4 Kozmo monster from your deck. Okay, so this card's okay. Again, these all kind of work together. If you're not running one of them, like if you're not running all of them, don't run any of them because they don't really have much synergy with the Kozmos we have now. Now, this is a card that I want to talk about. This guy, I assume that this is the Death Star. You can see that it's a secret rare. I hope it's not as expensive as Dart Destroyer, but to me, the card seems like this card seems really good. I think it has the potential to replace Forerunner, maybe like one copy of Forerunner. Anyways, this is Kozmo Dark Eclipser. Dark Eclipser is a level 9. It is currently the highest Kozmo monster, and it says, oh, it's 3000 attack, 2600 defense. I don't think they're gonna make Kozmo bigger than 3000. 3000 is like high enough, and these monsters aren't hard to summon. It says cannot be targeted by an opponent's card effects, so much like the other spaceships, the 7s and ups anyway. During either player's turn, when a trap is activated, you can banish one Kozmo monster from your graveyard, negate the activation. One Kozmo monster from your graveyard, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. If this card is destroyed by battle or card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can banish it, and you can add a level 8 or higher, or excuse me, a level 8 or lower Kozmo monster from your deck to your hand. Oh, wait, you know what? It doesn't actually summon it. It only tutors for it. Yeah, maybe it probably, you know what? Okay, well, originally, as soon as I saw that, I thought that it special summoned the monster. No, it actually just tutors it. I'd say that this is definitely a 1-of then. I don't think it replaces Forerunner, but it's still really, really good. Can't be targeted. The fact that you can just constantly uses the fact it's not once per turn as far as the negating traps. And you know, a lot of times when the little Cosmo monsters die, you know, you don't really have a way of getting them back. Cosmos don't really run like Call to Haunted or anything like that. So this is not only a way of using your graveyard as a resource, but it's also a way of getting those cards banished so that you can add them to, like, you can add them back to your hand with Cosmo Town. Honestly, I see this as like probably a bona fide one of. I don't think it'll be that expensive because this is not a card you'll probably run, like, you won't run 3 of this. One should be fine, and again, it's a secret rare, so hopefully it won't be that expensive. And then the last card is Kozmo, which is another secret rare apparently. This is a trap card that says target one Cosmo monster you control, destroy it, and if you do, banish one card your opponent controls or in their graveyard. You can only activate one Kozmo per turn. I didn't understand why they needed the restriction on this card of one. You can only activate one per turn. The card seems like this seems like a card. It looks like obviously that someone's using the Force. I assume it's Wicked Witch, but this card looks like it was begging to be a continuous trap. Like if it was a continuous trap, in my opinion, it would have been so much better. Now I do believe that this counts as a Kozmo card because it does have Cosmo right there in the name. So I believe that you can use this and you can search this from, you know, like what's it called, Farm Girl and whatnot. But I don't know. I mean, the restrictions on it would have you believe that it's like broken or something like that, but I'm just not seeing it, to be honest. I mean, you're essentially taking a neg. I mean, if you blow your own spaceship up, like, I guess, you know, your opponent could, I mean, you could get another monster to replace it, but in my opinion, like, then it should have been a quick play, you know what I mean? Or it should have been like a continuous trap. I mean, I think that this card's okay. I just don't think it'll be necessary. So of these Kozmo cards, the only one I think that will immediately see competitive play will be obviously Dark Eclipser. And I think the other ones are just, I think that they're more or less like for a different build of Cosmos. But hey, maybe that'll be where the deck goes. And interesting to see we're going to get the Pendulum Wizard in this set. Let me know what you guys think of this. Take care.